The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
If not, then this is an awakening of what you can look forward to on episode 539 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
How?
Oh my gosh.
How has that been 10 years?
That's so crazy.
And then I went down to the sidewalk to hang out and see what this line was about that they were doing here at the Chinese. And, like, instantaneously, I had my 300 best friends, just like that.
That we're pressing record right here that we don't want to ever forget. Because they're precious moments. Why? Because they're part of our childhood.
Harrison Ford is back!
Oh, my goodness.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland!
Here we go!
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets loud.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never Land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Can you believe it's been 10 years since The Force Awakens? We are so excited to go back to 2015 with our friends Ric Peralta from the LiningUp.net group and Dee Tails, who played Cratinus in Maz Kanata's castle in The Force Awakens.
And this is part one of our Force Awakens celebration. Next week, we'll get into the press event that we attended that included the cast and filmmakers.
But for right now, we want to welcome you back to Skywalking Through Neverland. I am Richard Woloski, but now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who is wearing the same outfit she did 10 years ago.
Yes, at the Force Awakens premiere in Hollywood. Oh my gosh, I've got my BB-8 dress. I've got my jacket that I bought the day of the Force Awakens premiere because it was so cold in Hollywood that I had to buy a jacket from the Hot Topic.
Don't laugh at us. It got cold in Hollywood.
It was a wind tunnel. That was the thing. It was like the wind factor was crazy. All right, well.
But
yes.
It's a good thing you bought that jacket because who picked you out of the crowd?
Oh, was it Dave Filoni?
Dave Filoni.
Yeah, that's right.
He was walking the crowd. No one knew who he was. No one knew. But he saw us and saw my Skywalking sweatshirt. He saw you wearing this outfit, and he started talking to us.
Yeah, so great. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Skywalking Through Neverland on YouTube to see all the clips and additions that we put into the video version of the show. So, imagine a big Wookiee hug from us and a little sprinkle of pixie dust for our family of Skywalkers.
All right. Now, before we get into our sponsors, Glenn Stein in the Sky Chat says, Daisy Ridley was on live with Kelly and Mark this morning.
Oh,
we have to ask about Star Wars.
I just realized I think it's the 10th anniversary today.
Is that right?
Is that true?
Of The Force Awakens coming out. I may be wrong, but I'm sure someone said it was the 15th, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How can that be?
I know.
It's
I
wild.
know. Such a baby.
So
yeah.
so is there talk about yes. Yeah. And do you know anything?
Yeah.
What?
She can't tell you anything.
You can't tell us anything?
No. We are moving in a great direction.
You're moving in a great direction.
Yeah.
Like in the direction of filming something soon?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. But you'll be a part of it.
I will. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Yeah.
That is so exciting. And Skydance Dawn, we had met at the Life Day celebration at Galaxy's Edge. Yay!
Oh, you know what, Skydance Dawn? I never got one of those silicone wristbands.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I have every one leading up to 2025, and I don't have one, so hopefully I can. Please save me one, okay?
For next time we see you.
Mm-hmm. All right, now, we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency that can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, or to the Universal theme parks in Orlando and Hollywood. And best of all, this service is free of charge. So head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Also, Spirit Jersey now has their own Star Wars and Disney license that you can buy outside the parks. They are always announcing fun one-day specials on their Instagram. Make sure to follow them at Spirit Jersey. And you can also head to spiritjersey.com and get a free shipping code with the code Skywalking Neverland, which is SKYWLKNVD.
So this is a good time to take this opportunity and use it for gifts, holiday gifts. The holidays are coming, so why not go and get a Spirit Jersey shirt? And then, when you're wearing your Spirit Jersey shirt, you'll need something to read. So how about today in Star Wars history?
I like what you did.
Part 1 and Part 2. These books are available at skywalkingthrough.neverland.com/book, as well as Skywalking Through My Fandom. Great holiday stocking stuffers.
Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on December 15th, 2025. So, Richard, what happened this week in Star Wars history?
We have a lot that happened this week in Star Wars history. This is a huge week for the Star Wars Disney era films. The Last Jedi was released on this day, December the 15th, in 2017. And I make a point to watch this on my birthday every year. On December the 16th, which is tomorrow, but in 2016, we saw the release of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. So next year, we'll need to do a 10th anniversary of Rogue One.
Oh,
how?
Oh my gosh.
How has that been 10 years?
That's so crazy.
Gee. But now, on December 17th, 2015, beginning at 1 a.m., 135 theaters began their 7-movie Star Wars marathon leading up to The Force Awakens. And they began with The Phantom Menace.
Now, how many of you listening right now attended this Star Wars marathon? We want to know. So please, at Skywalking Pod, let us know.
And unfortunately, we were across the street with liningup.net, so we weren't able to do this.
We were not, but we did see fans come in and out because you have your seat and you can kind of walk around during each film. And
between each film, actors would get up there and do like a spontaneous little pre-show, but a little prelude into the film. I think Billy D. Williams went up there before Return of the Jedi.
I think on laughingplace.com they have all the little videos of these. So we need to check that out.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
I don't think I can ever see a film at 1 a.m.
Oh, no.
Because I would last between 1 and 1:05 a.m. and I would just be out. We'll save that for the kids. You kids, go to your movie marathons. We'll see it at the proper hour of the day. All right, then to continue this week in Star Wars history, on December 18th in 2015, we got The Force Awakens.
10 years ago.
10 years to the previous Star Wars live-action Skywalker saga film with Revenge of the Sith. We had to wait 10 years, which seems like nothing after we had to wait 16 years between Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace. 10 years? Psh, yeah, on my head.
Well, and now it's going to be what?
No, it will be 7 years.
Yes.
When we see between The Rise of Skywalker and Mandalorian and Grogu.
Right.
7 years.
Wow.
That's like in between seasons of The Mandalorian now.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, then to round out the sequel trilogy, on December the 20th, 2019, we got The Rise of Skywalker. A really fun film, and you know what? We may even watch that tonight.
They fly now?
They fly now. To celebrate The Force Awakens, we're going to watch The Rise of Skywalker.
I want to watch The Force Awakens, though. We got to do that first.
Maybe
Man.
we'll watch all of them.
Okay. Well, we can do it.
Yeah. All right. So last week, in preparation for this episode, we put out a post on social media asking Skywalkers to give us their Force Awakens memories.
We're going to read some of those right now. So Adam Harris said, I made a documentary about myself and my son, Jack, and our Star Wars journey leading up to the release of The Force Awakens. It was the craziest 12 months of my life, a truly incredible adventure. And this is my saga, a Star Wars fan documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we had Adam on episode 125 and 223 to tell us about his documentary.
Yeah, really heartfelt documentary. And he gave us the YouTube link, so we'll put that in the show notes as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, hey, Glenn Stein is up next. Glenn, are you still in the Sky Chat? All right, Glenn wrote in and said, I remember seeing the film at Opry Mills and then going to the Disney store to get the first Rey figure with a lightsaber. Hiding that Rey was the main character led to so many controversies. I kind of remember this.
Yeah, like, especially there was no Rey token in the Monopoly, remember?
Yeah, that was huge.
That was huge, yeah. He also mentions Rey was not in the Lego Millennium Falcon set. And, yeah, so he thinks that Lucasfilm could have prevented all of this backlash if they had just been upfront that Rey was the main character and Force-sensitive. Which I know Force-sensitive was a big, big deal in the film. That was a big surprise.
Right, but I'm not sure they were hiding the fact that Rey was the main character because we had seen the trailer, we had seen all the previews up until this point, so I'm not sure what they were hiding. Yeah, that's what they have Lucasfilm on and ask him that one question. We get one question, that's it. This comes from Glenn Stein.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Glenn, for sharing that. All right, Victor Franco wrote and said, you guys took this photo of J.J. Abrams autographing my droid's back panel at the world premiere. And yeah, it's a fuzzy photo because it was kind of in the dark. Remember we were in that tent and the lighting was all like blue and red.
We had a flip phone, so it didn't have the best camera. I think most of our pictures came out really fuzzy. And plus, it was so herky-jerky and everything was just moving so fast that it was hard for the camera shutter to get that 1/60th of a second.
But it was really cool seeing J.J. Abrams right after seeing the film.
And we're going to talk about that next week when we talk about the world premiere. Hey, look who just joined us in the Sky Chat. Adam Harris. Adam, we were just talking about you.
Yay!
You and my Star Wars saga. My saga, a Star Wars fan documentary.
Yeah.
I hope you were here for that.
Me too. If not, listen to the show.
All right, next we have our new friend, Cloyd Hatch Jr., who said, my family and friends celebrated my 40th birthday by attending the opening night of The Force Awakens at our local theater.
Awesome. Awesome. And Carrie Hatch, his wife, says, I remember getting so excited to go see it at the theater. We wore our Star Wars t-shirts, got a popcorn bucket and matching cup. We also went for my husband's 40th birthday party with family and friends. It was awesome. You guys are two peas in a pod.
All right. Glenn is coming in the Sky Chat saying there was a commercial where Finn was holding the lightsaber.
Oh,
okay, so he
that's
probably
right.
thought he was going to be more of the centralized Jedi character. Also, Finn is piloting the Falcon in Star Tours.
The adventures continue.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't remember at this point, like, who, but thank
you know what, you're right. Every publicity picture had Finn holding the lightsaber,
right,
and Rey had her staff.
Which in the movie, that's the moment where Finn just picks up the lightsaber to defend himself against Kylo Ren and kind of save Rey at that point, right? Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to hide the fact that Rey had the lightsaber, and that's why they were holding back the action figures. But has that ever worked?
I mean, that was a really awesome moment in the theater when the lightsaber's like shaking in the snow, just like it does in Empire Strikes Back, and then you think it's going to go to Kylo Ren, but instead it goes right past him into Rey's hand. I mean, I remember getting chills.
I wish Hasbro had the same idea for Attack of the Clones, because they had brought out the figures, and Hayden Christensen had brought out the little Anakin figure to the Jay Leno show, and put the figure down on the table, and his arm fell off. And Jay said, did your arm come off in the movie?
What did he
Spoiler.
say? What did he say?
Yeah, he said, yeah, it does. Luckily, that episode of Jay Leno was taped the same day Attack of the Clones had come out, and by that time I'd already seen the film, or I would have been really upset.
I bet. Oh my god. All right. Well, we have 2 more comments from our Skywalkers. Jeff Caffrey says, one of my favorite experiences leading up to the release of The Force Awakens at YouTube Space LA. The real BB-8, he was meeting him for the first time, rolling around, and a crowd of people are surrounding BB-8 at that point because, oh my gosh, this new little droid is so cute.
Yeah, we had met that real BB-8 at the press conference. Like,
Yeah.
How was your head staying on?
Oh my god, that's so cute. Yeah, and then Jeff goes on to say he attended a panel at YouTube Space LA just before getting to meet BB-8, and the panelists were J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Gwendolyn Christie, and he was in the 3rd row.
Why were we not there?
I don't know, but I mean, we got to attend the press conference,
very true.
and we were in the 1st row. Remember
I
that?
just want to do everything.
Yeah, I know. It was cool. And then finally, Bill Beechler says, my kids, triplet girls, were 12 when The Force Awakens came out, so it was our first new Star Wars experience together. When the big death happens in The Force Awakens, they were all looking at me to see my reaction. Yeah, those are tears, girls. You got me. I was so happy to be there with them when that lightsaber flies to Rey's hand, just as we were talking about. And he ends with, both my wife and I are big Star Wars fans, and the girls went to Star Wars Celebration Indianapolis when they were just 2 years old, and my mother-in-law made Ewok hoods for them. Oh.
Love to hear those stories.
I know. I want to see pictures of that.
Yeah.
Bill. Share those pictures.
Come on, Bill. You can't say it, not show it.
Yeah.
All right, now, Sarah, let's get into our conversation with Dee Tails, who played Cratinus in Maz Kanata's Castle, and Ric Peralta, the one who got us into liningup.net, and the one who got us to sleep on the sidewalk in front of the TCL
Chinese Theatre IMAX.
IMAX.
Yes.
Yes. I'll never forget that, Rick. Thank you.
Let's do it.
I'll have a crick in my back.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Like all Star Wars fans, The Force Awakens was a big part of our fandom. Not only because it was the long-awaited sequel we thought we would never get, but we met some of our good friends through the fandom. It was only fitting that we ask a few of these friends to join us today.
Ric Peralta is one of the organizers of liningup.net, the charity group that turned The Force Awakens into an unforgettable weeks-long slumber party outside the TCL Chinese Theatre IMAX.
And Dee Tails, who was featured in The Force Awakens as the happy-go-lucky Cratinus, who is seen having a very good time in Maz Kanata's castle. Hey, guys!
Yay!
Hey, Richard and Sarah.
You always love the flail.
Oh, yeah, it is so good to see you two. Oh, my goodness.
All right, now let's just get right into it, because I can't wait to talk about The Force Awakens with you guys. And let's go back to the beginning, where it was announced that Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012, and it was announced that there was going to be an episode 7. So what did you think of the announcement, and what did you want to see in this next Star Wars chapter?
I mean, obviously, it was like over the moon when we got that news, and my head just was spinning with how far can this go? Where could we be? And you think, of course, about all of the legend stories and all the expanded universe, and like those are the places your head immediately goes. Is this the kind of thing we're going to see? But just like beyond excited. And of course, as somebody who had done the campouts for the Phantom, or for the Phantom Menace and for Attack of the Clones, and like that's part of my Star Wars experience is sleeping on the sidewalk. And it was like, oh my goodness, are we going to get to do this again? Does it work anymore? How can we make this happen?
All right, Dee, this was one of the first orders of Disney, no pun intended, that we do an episode 7. So when you heard this announcement yourself, what did you think? And what did you want to see?
I don't know. I mean, when I first heard it, the last thing I thought of was being in it because there was no way I thought about an audition or anything like that. But what I did remember was how exciting it was hearing all the press around about the time of the prequels, because it was on every news thing in the morning and stuff like that. And the thought of it, another one being shot in the UK, I had no idea where they were going with it, or what they would do in terms of a story. It was just exciting. It was a big deal, that led straight into the shooting of it, because on set, you could tell it was a big deal because there were so many people just buzzing and departments running left, right, and center. But when they announced it, I don't think anyone could imagine where they would go or how this story would play out. But it was exciting.
Yeah, I recall hearing the news of this new sequel back in 1980 when The Empire Strikes Back was being released, and Mark Hamill was saying, yeah, then they'll do the prequels and we won't be in the prequels, and then they'll go to the sequels and it'll end sometime around 2011. So it's good to know that we got a job up at the point of 2011. And when they made this announcement, I was just excited, just so excited to see all of our friends back together: Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, R2 with 3PO, and the possibilities were just endless. And like Rick, what you were saying is with all the legends, are they going to take those? Are they going to put them into the films? What are they going to do?
And I know for me, I was actually excited to share a new Star Wars movie coming out with you, Richard, because we met at the tail end of 2005, right after the prequels had all just come out. And so we had never shared a live action Star Wars movie premiere together. And so it was so fun. It was such excitement building up to this film.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Sharing it with you.
And when you touch on that, that really hits home for me quite a bit too, because I did meet my wife just before Revenge of the Sith came out, so we were able to do that line together and have her just get a taste of what those line experiences are like. And of course, historically, you guys know how many people met in line and got married in line, and like there's just this whole thing about this culture that you build up of sleeping on the sidewalk. But for me, when we got into the sequel era, this possibility was my daughter can understand it. My daughter can get a chance to see what it's like to sleep on a sidewalk and have this this energy going on that is just so hard to describe. Like you normally when we talk about this camping out on, everyone looks at it as like we're insane. You can't describe it effectively and really understand just how amazing the experience is until you're there. And of course, all of she was 7 when we were doing this line for Force Awakens, and the amount of press she got, the amount of time she was interviewed on international news, and she's already the seasoned veteran now with all kinds of media. It's like whatever, I can interview whatever. She's moving into film production these days, and she's like, it's old hat now, whatever.
Yeah, in fact, Rick, we first met your daughter, Eliza, when we took a picture when we were cosplaying as BB-8 at Celebration in 2015, and she was all dressed up too. And then we had Eliza on the show to get her to reveal the secret that Dave Filoni told her on stage of who voiced Chopper in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh.
How many years did she keep that secret?
Well, she held it all the way until the credits ran. In the final episode, when he finally revealed it, and she had held it all the time, obviously become this big joke, right? And I know she was a kind of an internet meme for a minute there, but we would try to ask her when she was half falling asleep. We'd try to get her in all kinds of scenarios, and we'd try to get it out of her, and she would not give it up at all. She just held on to that so tight, and you talk about when we met, and there was such a moment of the force aligning when we met, because not only did that lead to her getting a chance to be interviewed by you guys, but that moment in time when we were all at Celebration in Anaheim, that's when a bunch of us that were part of those original prequel lines all got together at the Denny's and were like, well,
Wow.
we got to do a line again. How do we start making this happen? And there was like, I don't know, 10 or 15 of us all having dinner together after the celebration was over with, like starting to put the wheels in motion to put on another line event.
Wow, you know what? That's absolutely amazing to hear. And the reason why is because that's not an experience I ever thought I could actually comprehend or understand. It was always something that you saw on TV regarding Star Wars, explicitly Star Wars, you know? And I have to say, as a fan, the introduction to just being interviewed, Jedi News wanting to do an interview with me and then introducing me to you guys. It was that being introduced to that part of the fandom that I never thought I would be associated with, and knowing people who have slept outside for these movies, knowing people who are part of that history and that heritage, you know, that's probably one of the most profound things that I've experienced outside of acting, because I never thought I would ever meet so many people that love Star Wars the way that I love Star Wars, or wanted to appreciate Star Wars the way that I wanted to appreciate it. You know, so it's been one of those things where the aftermath has been more rewarding than I'd say some of the work, or most of the work, because of the amount of people that I've met and connected with, who either bought the toys or like you guys slept outside. That's just like, you know, for me, you know, that's like a dream come true. If I could arrange with you for one of these movies to come and sleep in a tent or something, that would just be awesome. That would be.
We will get to that very soon. Very, very soon. Don't worry about that. And yeah, so The Force Awakens came out a day earlier in the United Kingdom on December 17th, 2015. So, Dee, was there any kind of lead up to The Force Awakens like what we had? Was there any kind of movie marathons? What did you have over there?
From what I can remember just from myself is that I made sure that I watched all the movies. And then what was tricky is when I was watching the prequels, was watching the behind the scenes, because those DVDs of the prequels have the most extensive behind the scenes footage of any Star Wars movie or any movie I've ever seen. Yeah, to this date, you know. And I had to get through all of that before I could even kind of start going back into the originals, you know, and leading up to where we had kind of jumped into with The Force Awakens. But I think my journey was a solitary one, because it was a personal thing. You know, there was so much to be grateful for. There was so much to be honored by just being associated with this product, that even the little part that I did, I had no idea about the rest of the story. So it was still a big introduction to what was going on, the trailer and things like that. I was seeing shots I'd never even seen before. You know, as far as I was concerned, the whole movie was just about the cantina. You know, for those 2 or 3 weeks that we shot in there. So I still got that brand new experience when it did get released. There was lots of press about BB-8. Oh, it's CGI, too much CGI, you know, and I knew through the whole entire process that we were balancing practical effects with CGI, but CGI was just the finesse, you know, other than if you're putting a CGI Falcon across the screen, you know. But it wasn't until, I don't know, I'm not even sure when Anaheim happened, and, you know, Matt Denton and his guys wheeled out BB-8 for the first time, you know, and people were like, oh, you know.
Yes.
Oh, just seeing him in that teaser trailer.
Yeah.
You're like, where do you go with life after that?
But seeing the practical BB-8.
Oh, seeing the practical BB-8, it's like, oh, how is this happening? I don't know.
Right.
Even to this day, I can't look at BB-8 and comprehend what's going on. It's, you know, it's a real thing. It's a real little puppy. It's a real thing. I can't comprehend it.
We talked originally about how to do this, how to best have BB-8 in the film, and there were a lot of discussions about how having a CG BB-8 would be so much easier for shooting. But we also knew it would be better for the film, for the actors, for the sets, for the look of it, if it were performed. And Neil Scanlon and his unbelievable team you saw earlier in the picture built and puppeteered BB-8 in the movie, did an extraordinary job, and it was better for the actors, it was better for the film itself. So you'll see their work. It's amazing.
All right, so Rick, for those who don't know about liningup.net, and most of the Skywalkers know everything about liningup.net because they've been with us since 2015, but for those newcomers and even Dee,
yep,
tell everyone what liningup.net is.
Absolutely. So, when we think about, you go back to the prequels, originally there was Lincoln, this Australian guy, who came up with this countingdown.com website to try to launch this massive camp out at the Chinese Theater, because of course this is the church of Star Wars, right? And so this big event happened with countingdown.com during that line. And with Phantom Menace, I mean, things were like on a scale like nobody'd seen, because we'd been waiting for Star Wars for so long. There was just it was insanity. And out of that, towards the end of that line, I at that time, I was kind of tangentially involved with the group because I was doing a camp out in San Francisco that was affiliated with this, but I wasn't on the ground in Hollywood dealing with what they were dealing with. But I guess towards the end of that line, it became very obvious that Lincoln was not going to be doing this anymore. Lincoln was already he was turning this into an opportunity for him to make some good money. He was able to sell that website off to DreamWorks, and it turned into a bigger thing for him. But everyone who had such a fantastic time in line wanted it to keep it going. So a few of the friends that, of course, all the Skywalkers know really well, Craig and the whole crew, Samir, all of them were like, we want to keep this going. So if we were counting down, what's the opposite of counting down, but still the same thing? It's lining up. So we're going to line up. And so they created liningup.net. And the idea was to not make it into a giant corporate event, not tie in huge sponsorships, make it about the fans, being for the fans, and running it as a charity event. And so that's where we came around to Attack of the Clones and doing that campouts for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Of course, Revenge of the Sith was we've had the drama and the politics we've had over the years. You guys know Revenge of the Sith. We're camped out at the Chinese Theater, and it doesn't play there. So we were literally camping out almost as a protest. The movie never played at the Chinese Theater. So in the final 2 days, we had to break camp and move the line over to the Cinerama Dome and also to the Vista Theater, because we had a political split ideologically within the group, and some went to see it at Cinerama Dome, some went to go see it at the Vista, and it was a really interesting line experience. That's a whole nother can of worms we can get into it at some other point if we wanted to. But of course, we had so much fun with these campouts, with these opportunities to hang out with friends from literally all over the world. Each line has brought in somebody new from a new country. We've had, like I said, we've had multiple marriages come out of these lines. It's this community. Like when I moved to Southern California from San Francisco, I felt lost here. I felt like I didn't know anyone. I was just it's too big. It's too spread out. It's too sprawling. I couldn't find my tribe. I couldn't find my community. And then I went down to the sidewalk to hang out and see what this line was about that they were doing here at the Chinese for Attack of the Clones. And instantaneously, I had my 300 best friends, just like that. And I lived at that time. I lived 3 blocks from the theater.
Wow.
So I'm an optician. They call me the optical Jedi for a reason. And every day I would get off work, come straight down the line, spend it from 6 o'clock until 6 a.m. in line. And then I would go back to my apartment, shower, clean up, go to work all day, come straight back to line. I did that for 5 weeks. And it's just this was it's like an addiction. It's like this drug. You can't get enough of being in line. You don't want to miss something. You got to be there every second, even though you don't have to. We can clock in and clock out, plenty of people had day jobs and just did the minimum hours, but you don't want to miss those moments that happen when, like we had, all the hobbits come by and hang out with us, and everyone, and we got them tickets and had them sit with us and for the screening. And like these kind of things happen all the time. Like you just never knew what was going to happen. You didn't want to miss it. And all the way through to this, again, with the sequels, it's like, you have Anthony Daniels stopping by, and you've got, Ray Park stopping by, and you've got all these, these people that are like, they're gods to us in a lot of ways, and they're hanging out and just chilling. And like, oh no, they're just people. They're just really cool people, and we can just chat with them. And my daughter got to have lightsaber fights with Ray Park, and like it's just like it's an insane experience, and it's so hard to put words to it. But
and it's all documented. It's all documented with all the pictures. It's like, so when she grows up, she can say, "Hey, look, she wants to go to college. Look, here's me and Ray Park. Let me in." Is that how that works?
It's funny you say that, but it's like, of course, we all get those Facebook memories and all those kind of things, and like this time of year, every year, like my phone is just overwhelmed with, this is what you were doing. This is what you were doing 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because it was always a Christmas camp out for all of the sequels and all the, these in-between films with, Solo and even though some of these were much shorter lines, they all brought something amazing to our experience and our community. And I even though, my professional career as an optician has taken me into new places in the last couple of years, and I've had to kind of step away from being involved in planning for Mandalorian and Grogu. I just don't have the time for it anymore. But it's still my family. And I still know that I'm going to be camping out and hanging out with my friends as much as I can this next go around. It's just like, I don't want to miss out. And like, we still have holiday parties and get togethers all the time with, 30, 40, 100 people just show up, Dee, for you to get it, like, I don't know how well you know the Chinese, but the theater, since it became IMAX, it seats 1,000 people, and for each of these sequels, we would have roughly 500 of the seats were us. We're just line members.
See, I've been there. I've been there before it was IMAX, so I don't know how long ago that was. But I had to go because of the Star Wars heritage.
Yeah, it's our home.
Yeah, and that's why there was such a controversy when Revenge of the Sith was not playing at the Chinese Theatre IMAX.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I still can't get the name right.
TCL Chinese Theatre IMAX.
Yeah, 10 years later, I still can't get it. Now, do you recall what celebrity stopped by to see us at the Force Awakens? Event?
Oh, yeah, well, definitely Force Awakens. I remember, well, of course, friend of the line, friend of the show, Vanessa Marshall, she's always involved with us in some level. She was always delivering pizza to us. Steven Stanton, of course, always coming by.
Delivering pizza? What?
Delivering pizza?
Yeah, there we go. Exactly. I was hoping you'd pull that stuff up.
So who are we looking at here?
So right there, we've got Craig and Samir, co-founders of Lining Up, and Lining Up to that. And then we've got our countdown clock there behind us that was built by Steve Zlick. And so literally every day we'd pull off one day on that countdown until the final day, and then we count it down every hour.
Yeah, a huge shout out to Craig and Samir, some of the nicest people in fandom.
Oh,
Love
absolutely.
those guys.
Absolutely. And again, people that were camping out for the prequels, but Samir now, he lives in Monterey. He's nowhere down here, but he still comes down for these lines. He's still organizing these events.
Wow.
It's a lifeblood.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's such a cool event. We're going to show just a few pictures here of the line.
Indeed, like what you were saying, this is it's synonymous with Star Wars heritage, being one of the first theaters that played Star Wars back in 1977.
I'm one of those crowds of people that grew up seeing those lines on the news. Yeah, not on the documentaries and things like that. On the actual news, before even contemplating what Star Wars was about, and knew it was a big deal. Like I mentioned before, on many occasions that we had, I think we had a sticker book, a Panini sticker book, and collecting cards and things like that. And it was more of a trend than whether you had actually seen the movie or not. So things like that. And then years later, seeing and meeting people that were there, You know, it's a trip. It's amazing.
All right, now let's take a trip back to the Force Awakens and the production. There's a segue.
that blue one in front is mine.
Wait, there we go.
Oh, we're looking at tents on the forecourt.
Yeah, that blue one, that blue and white one is mine.
Yeah, and then just the excitement of just being there. You know, we just taking pictures, having lots of time. I mean, look at this. I think that was opening day.
Happy faces.
And those happy, very delirious faces.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, and I never want to say...
You don't sleep a whole lot there.
I never want to admit that we were really cold being in Los Angeles, because people will throw a snowball at you.
We were really cold.
This was a wind tunnel down Hollywood Boulevard, and it got...
Don't even talk about that final week. That final week was bitter. That last day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I think it hit like 82 degrees.
Oh, yeah. It was so cold. But
that was cold.
You know, you're talking about not wanting to miss a moment, you know, and the few hours of sleep most of you got or didn't get, you know, that was, I found that on set, you know, and I continue to do that on set, where you just sit and watch, you know. You could be going off to the craft, you could be wandering around elsewhere, but if the camera was rolling and they're setting up, I'm sitting there watching every single thing. But the thing is, you do that because you don't want to miss a moment. What's that Aerosmith song? And I don't want to miss a thing. It's that, you know, and you want to record every moment you can up here, as well as on a camera or photograph or whatever, but because it's something that means something to you, you know, and it's something that is very unique that you can share with other people.
Oh, you're a part of history at this point.
Oh, yeah.
A new Star Wars film we never thought we would get.
There hadn't been, or I don't think I'd experienced any other movie, that I could connect with other people about, other than 2 or 3. Yeah, we have an entire family of people who love Star Wars, and it's not restricted to your town or your state or your country. Everybody loves it. You know, and remembers those early years, and remembers the originals, then the prequels, and where they were and what they were doing. That is, I think that's something that is very, very understated about how much love the Star Wars fans have for each other, as well as the product.
Oh, yeah. Ever since we started podcasting, we've been able to talk to people all over the world about their fandom. And we love hearing these stories, not just the fans, but people like you who were actually there in the film. Now, if we were to line up all the characters in Maz Kanata's castle and say, which one is Dee Tails? The guy with a big smile. That's got to be Dee.
Other than the smile, though, I don't recognize, because I wear these things. My brain doesn't see me in these things.
Oh.
Yeah? So I don't see myself in these things. So it's just like, oh, okay. I'm telling myself, oh, that's me. And my brain's saying, that ain't you. It is. And the experience and the memory is there. But it's the one product that I've ever worked on where I have not needed to act at all. Yeah. You know, and I shouldn't say it. It's the easiest gig I've ever continued to have for 10 years. Yeah. If someone handpicked any one of you guys, right, and said, okay, we want you to be in this scene for Star Wars, whatever, do you really think they're going to need to tell you exactly how to act?
Yeah, it's like, you know what, we'll tell you what the scene should be and how we should act.
That's very true.
That's where I've always sat, in the middle of Star Wars. And I've had a few people, like the late Derek Campbell, who was an amputee, that I think the last job that we worked on before he passed away was Solo. We would always find time just to sit on set. We're not needed for hours, but we will sit on set and just watch things and just think how lucky we are to be there. And obviously we've signed NDAs, and you can't walk around with your phone and take pictures and stuff like that. So we're sitting there taking and sharing this visualization, hoping we're sharing the same thing, seeing the same thing, that we're pressing record right here, that we don't want to ever forget. because they're precious moments. Why? Because they're part of our childhood.
What is one of your favorite memories of working on The Force Awakens? These memories that you kind of screenshotted in your head as you were playing Cratinus.
It wasn't when most of the cast were on set, surprisingly enough. It was that realization that when I was not even 10 years old, I must have been about 8 or something like that, watching the behind the scenes after Sesame Street and seeing the making of, I think it was Return of the Jedi, and seeing the Ewoks without their heads on and the stormtroopers without their heads on, and they're walking about and they're talking about this, talking about that, and then being on that set behind where we had built Maz's castle and her cantina. It's just being on the other side of that and sitting there watching wardrobe and makeup people running around the artists.
And seeing Harrison Ford as Han Solo once again. After the decades he'd said, I'm never going back to Han Solo. It's never going to happen. And then here he is. And you shot that in 2013? So you knew years before anyone else, Harrison Ford is back.
Oh, my goodness.
JJ, listen, I mean, I say JJ like it's just another name, but you've got the director just coming up to you, and a lot of the time I'm extremely grateful that I'm being given notes while I'm wearing my head, because it means that my eyes won't say how shocked I am while my mind is trying to concentrate on what notes you're giving me. And he just said, we're going to try and cheat the shot, and I need you to look over your left shoulder than your right, rather than your right shoulder, because Maz is going to say, Han Solo! And then you look round, and I looked round, and he was stood there with the leather jacket on and the holster, and he looked at me, and he just gave me that wry smile, and I turned back, and I was like, just to contribute to that Star Wars story is and has always been just beyond the most,
Well, what I really loved about Maz Kanata's castle is that you can tell that all of the creature performers were actual performers, so they all had their little bits to do. And you and Tom Bell, who played your brother Prashi in the film, you guys had this little shtick. Now, did you guys work out this little shtick beforehand, or did it come out throughout the scene, or were you directed to do that, where you guys were just laughing?
Listen, that was just, like I said, we didn't have to act, right? So through the whole process of being given the heads before they were painted, put in the costumes, and we were originally on our knees with shoes attached to our knees because they wanted to exaggerate the body stretching and the proportions of the body for these Abdurians, right? And Tom and I just started speaking of and having these conversations with the head on. And it stopped the whole wardrobe department when we did that, because they could see not just the clothes and the heads, but the whole characters come to life and perform, and they had no idea how they were going to perform, but we delivered that. And then we were in this big space where they were coming to choose what creatures were going to be in the cantina, and then putting that routine together for that. And the only note we had was Tom was going to be given a signal when JJ and his crew would come in, and he would start making me laugh, and then we'd start back and forth until Neil Scanlon was going to yell, "Creatures stop," and that went on for about 10-15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. But you don't really feel that other than when you take the head off and you're sweating buckets, right? But we did that, and then we were taken away at some stage during the shoot to have our photos done for the visual dictionary.
Oh.
And then we got out of the bus that took us there. They put us on a bus to do that, and with all this hooded thing on, and we took it off. And as soon as we got into the studio, we got on our knees and walked the rest of the way chatting. And so the photographer just had these two little creatures waddling in. He lost his mind. He said, "This is Star Wars."
Oh.
You know, and that was part of why we did that and why we were doing that on set in between the takes. Because in between a take, it could take 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But we just kept going. And then the extras and some of the other creatures would get involved in the game we were playing. And then, is it Lupita?
Lupita Nyong'o?
Yes, she came over for a rehearsal, and it just became my mission to make her laugh. You know, and I did. So,
yeah, I was going to say, did you? Yes. Awesome.
But it was about giving people that Star Wars moment that they expect to see on Star Wars, but were never expecting to see. They thought I'd been doing this stuff for years.
Well, you have been since you were a kid.
Yeah.
In your backyard with all your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it ain't acting, just having to laugh.
A funny thing about Lupita Nyong'o, she had just done 12 Years a Slave, and she did not want to be typecast in this kind of role. And she loved doing The Force Awakens and not have to be on set every day. She could just do the voice. Oh, she loved that.
Yeah.
There were multiple dreams coming true that I was bearing witness to and contributing to. Even now, it's still very, very surreal, that entire thing, because you don't ever think for a second that they think that you have something to contribute to Star Wars, and then they call you up for it.
I can't help but feel like those of us who've never had an opportunity to be on a set for a Star Wars film in particular, like we got our own little potential taste of it that first time we walked into Galaxy's Edge. And we were like, I've literally stepped into the world that I've dreamed about my entire life. And so I can only imagine what it's like to be there with the cameras and the costumers and the makeup and the whole thing. It's just, I'm envious of what you've been able to experience.
You know what? One of the greatest things about The Force Awakens and the new Star Wars era is that Disney is letting the fans in to participate. Like they had asked the droid builders to build them an R2-D2.
Oh, yeah.
What better? They're asking the 501st to be stormtroopers and the Mandalorian. So, Rick, at what point are they going to come to us and say, we need a big crowd scene? Rick, make this happen. I know you need to step away, but forget about life. Forget about that real life stuff. Come on, Rick.
Real life, who knows, right? I mean, you guys know. I mean, I have the look. I've got that little bit of Lucasy look, and I kid you not. You know, in our campouts, I've had security working the events come over and ask for selfies with me because they thought I was George. So I'm like. Maybe I've got some sort of way of cracking that open. I don't know.
Gotta wear that shirt.
Plaid shirt.
With that museum opening, I'm just gonna walk up. You know, I'll put on a flannel, just walk up.
Yeah, let me in, please. Yeah.
What we need to do is come to the UK and just drive up to Pinewood, roll down the window a little bit, and they'll let you through.
You know what? Just say, I would love to stop, but I'm on a schedule that is faster and more intense. I can't stop right now, guards. They'll say, oh, it is really George. All right, now let's go right to the point after The Force Awakens, right after we'd seen the movies. Rick, what was your impression after we had seen this film?
Well, you know, I know there are plenty of people that like to come out and like want to nitpick things to death, and that's never been me. I don't want to do that. I like to ride that high. That's what I love about seeing these movies the first time with that opening midnight crowd, even though midnight's at 7 now. Like it's that moment with that energy you get from 1,000 people in the theater experiencing something like that. And I come out high as a kite. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Nothing's ever gonna top this. Every time I've come out of one of these movies, that's the way I felt. I felt that way with Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, each one of those. I was thrilled the moment I came out that door. And I couldn't understand how anyone couldn't feel the same way. And that still hits me the same way every time. I'm just like, I'm hot. It's the best. And I just want to gather and talk. And that's one of the great things, of course, we've been able to do with all of our events is that we have had in the sequel era, at least, and since, you know, we get an after party just for us. That's all catered. And we all go upstairs into the 6 and we can hang out and talk it through. What did we just experience? What was it? And like, and as an organizer, you know, there's so much work that goes to putting into these events. And I know I never even remotely put in as much as some of the others, but it's still kind of emotionally and physically exhausting how much we have to do to plan for these events. You know, we started planning this thing 2 years before it actually happened. Then you actually get to the day and you're doing it, and it's just like it's nonstop. You're constantly thinking, and there are always crises happening in line. And you're worrying about, you know, getting the press out and getting the word out about the charity or whatever it is that you're stressing about. And there is this also, you come into that party and it's like, it's over. The stress is gone and I can just enjoy the moment. And I feel like it's truly like a celebratory party. Like I think I've only ever experienced outside of Star Wars once. And it was after I won a big optical award. And it was just like the stress was gone and I could just enjoy it. And that's very much the way I feel with these lines. Like I can just hang with my friends now. I don't have to worry about the other stuff.
Right. Whose idea was it to tie in the Starlight Foundation?
Starlight Children's Foundation.
Right, that was a brilliant move.
I mean, we've worked with Starlight Children's Foundation all the way going back to when it was still counting down. So that's like, it's been a thing since very early on, and that does come back to Samir. As you guys know, he's a doctor. He works in, he manages an emergency, or he used to manage the emergency room up in Monterey. When we were doing the prequel lines, he was a med student. And he was doing work at Children's Hospital, and he saw the work that Starlight did in the hospitals and what it did for kids. And he's like, this is what we should be doing. This is our thing. This is really critical. It's just been our charity since the beginning. It will be our charity till the end. We always get kids in and their families in to see the movie with us. And it's just like, it's incredibly rewarding that we know we're helping out sick kids and giving them things that can bring a little bit of joy back into their lives.
Yeah, and that's very important.
Extremely important. Which I love the Star Wars fan groups that do have a component where they are raising money always for needy people. Star Wars fans are awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know, once we were all said and done after the final of the sequels, we had raised since '99 over $125,000 for Starlight Children's Foundation.
Oh,
so
wow.
We've done a lot for them over the years. And that's not, I mean, obviously, that's not like the whole reason everyone comes out to line. Like, we're all Star Wars fans. But I think that's part of what being a Star Wars fan is giving back to community. That's always been part of what we are. And so this is just kind of part and parcel of it. We're doing a thing that we love for us, but we're also doing it to help someone else.
Yeah, I've seen some of these clips from Make-A-Wish Foundation as well. You know, how it affects how it affects children, you know, and how it affects their lives. And yeah, as long as it helps the kids, it's always good.
Yeah.
Star Wars goes back to all of our childhood, so it's great to help the kids in need.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to drive home your point, I mean, the part of the reason the lining up and the camping has always been so important to me is that my very earliest Star Wars memory is standing in line with my dad at 3 years old.
Wow.
I don't even remember seeing the movie. I remember standing in line with my dad at 3 years old and thinking, what is this I'm about to do that has this many people standing outside waiting to get in? And like, that was the linchpin. Like, we've even gone back and gone back to the theater, like, because of that experience. I remember like every movie I see, every theater I've ever been in. I remember where I saw it because it tied so completely into seeing it at that theater, in that town, in that location, that now it's like it's this important part of every experience I have. And that's why it was so critical for me and I never thought my daughter was going to get that opportunity because we were in the your era of reserved movie tickets. Like campouts are not a thing anymore. Like, you don't even line up anymore because you just show up when the movie starts because you got a reserved seat. And that she had an opportunity to experience and see what that was like and know the kind of community that you build when you're standing in line. That's what's missing from movies today, honestly. I know there's lots of issues with the film industry on the whole, and we can take it back to COVID and all the other things. But I think as much as people would complain about having to stand in line and pick their seats again, I think people would also be happier as a people if we were standing in line and talking with the people around us again.
Let's go there in just a couple of seconds, but Dee, let's go to you about your first impressions after you had seen The Force Awakens. Were you able to separate yourself from being on set to being a Star Wars fan watching this film?
Yeah, because there was such a long run up into that scene that lasted a few seconds, you know, that it didn't interrupt how I saw that moment, you know, which is kind of strange. Is why I say to you, is like, I look at it and say, yeah, that's me. My brain says, no, it ain't, you know. But it was also that moment where I saw my name immortalized in that blue ink in the credits.
Oh,
you know,
that's a moment.
And then that never got old, right? But, you know, and it got better too, because I got cast credits later on and stuff. So just even more mind blowing. But the whole aspect of it was, wow, where are we going with the story? What's happening? You know, and also talking about everybody having a few people having their opinions about what the story was told and all that. That didn't really bother me, because I'm like, hang on, they haven't finished telling the story. What are you talking about? You don't know where this is going.
It's all about the headlines now. People just read the headlines and suddenly they know the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, you know, and even some of them were fans saying, "Oh, that's wrong. They shouldn't do it." It was just like, well, you don't know what they're doing. So I was kind of like separated from that experience, because I was more overwhelmed by the fact that, hang on, I've just been in this thing. I've just been in a Star Wars movie, and my name's on the scene, right? That took up a lot of my my focus at that moment, and then people were coming to me saying, "Oh yeah, you want to do some signings?" I'm like, "Signings? I'm in the movie for 2 seconds. What do you mean? Do I want to do a signing?"
Right? If you're in the movie for 2 frames, people will want your autograph.
Yes,
absolutely.
But I've been in a band. I've done an album or 2, released a few tracks. I've toured with who? I toured with TLC, Brownstone, Janet Jackson, all these people, and I've done signings in various countries, right? And I've earned those signings, so I felt like I earned those. I didn't feel like I'd earned the right to do any signings after that. It was so short and so brief, but I was being reverent to my craft and to what I'd taken part in. You know, I would have felt like I was cheating anybody buying a signature. Whether that's true or not, it felt like I would have been cheating them in selling an autograph for a split-second thing, you know, and...
But it wasn't like you were lying about it, like, oh yeah, I was in the movie, when really you weren't, and that has happened. But that was actually you, and they know that you're only in for that one sweeping shot, or in a couple of shots, really. So you're but you're part of Star Wars, and that's what they want. They want to connect with everyone who had a little part of it, and then from there you went on to do The Last Jedi and Rogue One, and a huge role in Solo.
Yeah.
But that's where I felt like I was earning my stripes. Yeah, as an actual actor, because don't forget, I'm on set. I'm just doing, yeah. I've done Shakespeare in the West End twice. and I had dialogue, right? So I wanted to just balance things out and also keep my head. Yeah, it was a very conflicting time for me, but it was an enjoyable conflicting time, because also in those down times where I'm waiting to shoot another film or something like that, I got to meet you guys. I had podcasts, with Fanta Tracks. I had podcasts with all kinds of loads of people that I got to just share my experience, and like now, I'm not sharing an actor's experience, I'm sharing a fan's experience.
Which is what part of the experience that we want. It's not just because you're in the movie, which is great, but we want to hear your stories from a fan behind the scenes.
Yeah. Somebody who really knows why they're there. That's the key.
So I might as well have been queuing up. Yeah, and then handpicked. And I'll come back and tell you guys, dude, you won't believe it. They got a ball that rolls around and it beeps.
Well, you know what? Maybe you'll get a chance. So, Rick, will lining up take? I know you touched on it briefly, but
Yes.
will lining up be back?
Well, I've stepped back from that. Absolutely, we are doing another line for Mandalorian and Grogu. You're going to be hearing plenty coming from liningup.net soon. If you've been involved with us before, or if you've followed us before, you'll be getting the emails soon. Follow all of our Instagram, our Facebook accounts, because all of that stuff's going to be going. We do have a closed community on Facebook for people who have actively camped out before. And there's already the world spinning and buzzing there already about it. Yes, indeed. You guys put in your hours for sure. And it's obviously we love having, because just like what we're doing right now, right here in this little room virtually, in the line, it's people that are involved in making the film coming out and hanging out with us, sometimes actually putting in the hours with us, seeing the movie with us. Most definitely, Vanessa sat right with me for Force Awakens. So it's a big deal to us to have you, because it means so much to us to have that perspective of the person that really gets what they were experiencing. It wasn't just a paycheck, that this was like you were participating in history.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always good to direct people to something like this where they can meet other fans, and everyone is just so positive. They're gonna love that. And as a bonus, as a huge bonus, you get to help out needy children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's amazing.
No small thing there. Absolutely, yeah. It's we're all very excited for it. We've literally been talking about from the moment they announced that there was a new movie coming. We started the wheels turning about how we're going to get things going. I don't know if again, because I'm not really actively involved anymore. I'm not sure if we've set how many days we're going to be running it for yet, but I know there's going to be a camp out. We're going to be doing it.
Yeah, and people won't care that you all you got to do is go to your phone and click I want this seat. People won't care in this group about that. They're still going to be lining up.
Yeah.
Well, and Dee, because you may not know this system, and certainly some of the listeners may not know this system, but I know you, Richard and Sarah, definitely get it. So our process, the way we work this is we literally, as an organization, buy several hundred seats, and then your seat location is divvied out by how many hours you put in line. So the more hours you put in, you get to choose your seat location first. We build a giant map of the theater, and you get to put your name down on those 2 seats and grab those seats and take those with you, so that we can enter the theater in whatever order we want now. But you still are choosing your location based on how many hours you put into the charity event.
Here we go.
Here is the map.
Literally me too. I love it.
Yeah, that's you choosing your seat. So here we go, and signing it. So like everyone gets to choose, like these are all the seats that were, there. And then everyone gets to choose their seat. That's what the red markers are based on how many hours they had in line. There is our signature right there. Jedi Tink, Skywalking. Yeah. But isn't that so cool? That's like so neat.
So Dee, don't make any other plans for May. You're going to be here, right?
Yeah, you're going to be right here in this theater.
Give us that commitment.
It is truly the Church of Star Wars. You got to be there. You have to experience it at least once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we come down there. We play our big trivia game. There's just so much going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much at all hours. Like something's always going to be going on. Even if you just popped by the line on London time and showed up at 3 a.m, there's still be something going on.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
You're going to do a podcast while you're in line.
Oh, we did.
Oh, and it's, by the way, it's their wedding anniversary right now too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They had their wedding right here.
Oh, bless.
They're showing pictures of the wedding and a stormtrooper cake, and then Baskin Robbins came by, gave us free cake and Baskin Robbins.
There's Obi-Shawn.
Obi-Shawn.
And then, of course, a big, huge poster right in front of the Chinese theater.
A lot of people would come down, like the Taco Bell truck came down.
Oh, yeah.
And Baskin Robbins, Vanessa Marshall with pizza. We ate very well.
Yeah, and the media, of course. Like, yeah, it's been a great. Oh yeah, Vanessa Marshall, check it out.
There she is.
Speaking of,
there's Harrison Dula.
Yeah,
I know.
And
I
then-
know. There's a Getty image
yeah.
somewhere of me hugging R2.
Oh, I don't. Oh yeah, but here's R2 right here.
The
So
dude himself.
The ring bearer.
yeah, look at that.
Oh my god! All right. So this, we just
yeah.
now. I'm very excited. I'm gonna go to the Chinese theater right now and wait in line. I'm that excited.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
Rick, how can people find out what's coming up with liningup.net?
Well,
Just go to liningup.net.
Yeah, absolutely. Liningup.net. You can find us, in all the social media locations in some form of liningup.net. Of course, all of our organizers can be found through there as well. But get connected to us. Instagram is probably going to be one of your best places. I know we've been posting an awful lot on X lately. And definitely, of course, Facebook is where our community exists. So get connected, find out, come hang out. You don't have to put in lots of time. You'll get into the theater. There's no bad seats in that house.
No.
But if you want to really experience it, come and hang and just don't leave. Put in your PTO request right now and just come and hang out.
And the best part, it's in May, not December. It's in May.
Yeah, a little warmer. Yeah.
It'll be a little bit more kilts appropriate for me this time. I was a little chilled a few nights, that's for sure.
Wow.
All right, Dee, if the fans want to follow you, if the Skywalkers want to reach out to you, where do they go?
Oh, I'm mainly on Instagram, which is D_Tails official. D_Tails_ official. That's it. And D.Tails on Facebook. You can recognize my Facebook page because it's always got a Daffy Duck face on it, primarily.
Cool.
But one thing I did want to share with you as a fan was when I got to play Quaitol Sight in Solo. It took me a while. It took me a while not to adjust to the fact that I was playing a Pike, but I was actually the person Han Solo had to rip off to make the Kessel Run. That's like, you know what? I can retire now. I'll see you later.
If that doesn't cement you in Star Wars lore,
know.
I don't know what would.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
That's the backstory right there. That's the backstory.
Well, there has been an awakening, and that is talking to you guys right there. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experience with The Force Awakens 10 years later.
What are your hopes for the new Star Wars movies? What is A New Hope for the new Star Wars movies?
I hope it's successful. I hope they do a great job. I'm hoping, and they've taken it in a different direction, and I'm excited to see. Since I didn't use my stories, I have no idea what they're doing.
Have you looked at any of the teaser trailers?
I have seen the first one, the other one that came out today. I just saw what was on CBS, but I'm going to try to look at it. I want to see it on the big screen.
Well, that wraps up episode 539 of Skywalking Through Neverland. We want to thank Ric Peralta and Dee Tails for joining us and sharing their Force Awakens memories.
Now, next week, we will be continuing our 10th anniversary celebration of The Force Awakens with the press conference and world premiere memories. And if you didn't get a chance and would like to share your own memories of The Force Awakens, please DM us or comment on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod.
All right, now be sure to subscribe on YouTube to get the full effect of Skywalking Through Neverland. And join us weekly on Things We Want to Share every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time for stories of the fun things we've done that week. The Skywalkers come on and tell us what they've done. Glenn shows us his Spider-Gwen comic collection. We do trivia, whole lots of fun. Once again, every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
On our YouTube channel. Now you can get autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Parts 1 and 2. And also, Skywalking Through My Fandom is a notebook that people can fill out, and that makes a great gift for the holidays. You can find all that at skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. Now, do you want to support the show? You can also join the Skywalking Force on Patreon for early access and bonus episodes. Also, they just started putting little ads in our regular show. So if you want an ad-free version of Skywalking Through Neverland, you can head to skywalkingforce.com and become a member, and then you'll get ad-free shows.
All right, and another big thanks to our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Their Disney and Universal trip planning service is free of charge. So visit smallworldvacations.com and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
And remember, Spirit Jersey has their own Star Wars and Disney licensed clothing you can buy outside the parks. You can head to spiritjersey.com and get free shipping with code SKYWLKNVD. The code is in our show notes.
Now, we are part of the Skywalking Network.
Skynet.
Home to more great shows like Talking Apes,
Star Warsologies,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and Today in Star Wars History. Now, stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember,
there is an awakening.
And
Neverland on Alderaan. Tell me to do it.
I'm going to need your TFA clappy claps.
Then there should be 10.
Now that's 13.
Three for good luck.
I was gonna say, okay.
All right, now we are recording this from Long Note. So this is a good time to take their opportunity. Why can't I say opportunity? Hold on. Adam Harris says, you guys are amazing. Let's just keep that up there.
Yeah, I mean, before Star Wars, the only other place that I found that was when I was snowboarding. Oh. Yeah, and snowboarders, we're all the same. And it's kind of like, yeah, if you're a skater, yeah, it's exactly the same thing. But that community and that bond and that kind of understanding and just, it's just a given. To know what the latest board is to use, or what the latest wax is to use, or what the latest step-in or binders to use, and all that kind of stuff. That's what I found in that Star Wars community.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.